and Robert Griffin III coming out when Shanahan took both of them and took Cousins in the 4th round. I thought Cousins would win the starting job that year. But because of Daniel Snyder interference, Washington went with RG3 for far too long. The league figured him out. They broke him. He didn't want to slide. He didn't want to be a pocket passer. He tried to make himself into what he thought an NFL quarterback was instead of just playing his game. We see similar things with Mr. Kaepernick. They tried to change him into what an NFL quarterback is thought to be and stop letting him play his game. So yes, Kirk Cousins, sign your contract, try and get that deal done by Friday, and go out there and have another good year. You're not going to win the NFC East this year, but go out there, have another good year. Maybe you can get a wild card. Alex Smith, again, game manager, underrated. Like I said, you can't be really underrated or overrated when your game is game management. It's just not making a mistake. It's not taking any risks. It's not leading the team. So how can you be under or overrated except in the eyes of the media or how many stories or headlines you get? The game is what it is. Yes, Alex Smith is a winner. He's going to win you games because he really doesn't lose games. But his play is not very rarely going to be the deciding factor in what happened. I mean, every now and then he's going to put up a 300-yard game because Kansas City's defense is going to put them in a position to do that. Every now and then the offense is going to catch fire. And, you know, the old saying, the sun even shines on the dog's ass every once in a while. I wouldn't want Alex Smith on my team. Nothing against him. Like I said, he's a winner. That's what he does. His teams win games. He won games in San Francisco. He's winning games in Kansas City. But if I'm building a team, that's not the quarterback I want. So I guess by that standard, you know, maybe I'm contradicting myself and he is a little underrated because he wins. Maybe I should adjust my scales some or rethink my stance based on Mr. Alex Smith. Maybe he is underrated. Maybe he's not underrated. He's underappreciated. That's what it is. Alex Smith is underappreciated because he wins. There's no other way to describe what he does. But if you can fluster him, if you can get in his head, which all that takes is some pressure and a few hits, you can beat Alex Smith and the Kansas City Chiefs. Another name on that list, again, this is a guy who I think is underappreciated, not underrated, because he gets all kinds of press. He gets negative press a lot, don't get me wrong, as far as his game leadership, but he gets a lot of kudos, and that's Andy Dalton up there in Cincinnati. He's a great quarterback. He's one of the better young quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion. They got a nice thing going there in Cincinnati on both sides of the ball. Has he won the big game? No. But not everybody does. Does that mean his career to this point hasn't been worth it? No. He's been in the playoffs every year of his career. In a tough division. And probably the toughest, if not one of the toughest divisions in the NFL, year in and year out. Has he made mistakes? Sure. But he started as a young guy. He came in early. He got to mentor a little, or mentee a little bit under Kitna, but they pretty much threw him in. And it hasn't been bad. He's gotten hurt. They've had some things here and there. And like I said the other day, there's no position in the NFL that's not dependent on somebody else. For whatever reason, we've decided to talk about football wins and losses and all this stuff as if the quarterback is the end-all be-all. And we've put all this money in the quarterback position these days. But every position is dependent. And as many shortcomings as Andy Dalton has had, so has the Cincinnati Bengals. As good as they're becoming, as much as good as they have on both sides of the ball and what they're building there, they have shortcomings that are keeping them from getting to that next level. And it's not just Andy Dalton's play or the mistakes he's made here or there. It's a team issue. You win as a team, you lose as a team. We report it as a quarterback issue. So underappreciated, not underrated to me. The last guy on this list, Tyrod Taylor, I fully agree with Mr. De Silva on this one. I believe he is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. And he plays on a Buffalo Bills team that wasn't very consistent, had a lot of their offensive weapons injured last year, and was putting in a new system. And he almost left this year. There's rumors that he was going to be traded to Denver, remember? And he almost didn't go to Buffalo. Kubiak and Elway had an offer to Tyrod Taylor for him to come be the backup or compete for the backup role because they knew Manning was on his way out, which was kind of a sign that they also didn't have that much faith in Osweiler, but whatever, another story, another day. He is underrated. He's very good. He's mobile. He's accurate. He's got a strong arm. He's a smaller guy, but so is Drew Brees. There's Doug Flutie. There's been other smaller quarterbacks. Russell Wilson. So I'm kind of sick of hearing the small quarterback can't do it. Russell Wilson's hands aren't even that big. So the small hand thing, I'm kind of getting sick of that too. Get over it. You can either ball or you can't. You can play the sport on the highest level or you can't. I don't care what your measurables are. I don't care if you're supposed to have a 9.5-inch hand width and your hand's 7. I don't care if you're supposed to have a 25-inch vertical and you can jump 10. You can either ball or you can't. Good players take what they have physically and they use their abilities to the best they can. And they get the most out of it. And if you can get to that top level, good for you. I'm going to take you. I need you on my team. And Tyrod Taylor's one of those guys. He's taken every skill he has. His intelligence, his speed, his accuracy, his deep ball, his willingness to run, his willingness to be a team player and play for less money than market value. Because believe me, guys, he's going to get paid on his next deal. He's going to be one of these top tier, almost top tier. He's going to get some Brock Osweiler money. That's what I'm going to call it. That second tier, for whatever reason, they put Brock Osweiler in that tier. But we'll now refer to it as the Brock Osweiler money. That second tier quarterback money. So, good article. Check it out. Again, that's on Fox Sports. It's by Cameron De Silva. 5 most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. Other stories coming out of the NFL today. Now, I don't know if everybody saw this. You'd have had to been paying attention to Twitter or Broncos news or specifically this news about Draymond Green and what took place the other day where he apparently got arrested for smacking the goodness out of somebody, or reportedly. I've heard he reportedly smacked somebody across the face for talking stuff to him. I heard that he socked somebody, punched him. And now today, fellow Michigan State alum and Denver Bronco wide receiver Benny Fowler has come out and said, no. I was with Draymond Green that night. Not only did he not hit anybody, he didn't do anything. And I can't wait for the truth to come out. So, who knows what to believe? Could there have been a fan who was heckling Draymond and in a moment of stupidity, absent-mindedness, he reacted like a testosterone-driven male? It's easy to believe. We'll find out. We'll see if he faces charges. We'll see if he faces a suspension. If he doesn't, clearly the story was made up. There wasn't enough evidence to move forward. If he does, well, then Benny Fowler's got some explaining to do. Like why he lied. So we'll have to see how this thing plays out. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think. If you look how Draymond rebounds and does layups and kicks everybody almost, once a game, it's easy to believe you could rile him up. He might take a swing. Press his buttons long enough. I mean, hell, you press my buttons long enough, I'm probably going to take a swing at you. Or curse you out. Something's going to happen. You might have a chair flying over your head or something. And, fans are stupid. I'm sorry. But fanatics, not real fans, not fans who love the game or the sport, they take it too far. Now, one thing that's gone too far, and it's that time in the show, it's Wednesday. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get real, okay? We've talked about this before on the show. Tom Brady, he has been denied, all right? The U.S. Second Circuit Supreme Appellate Court has decided, no, you don't get to appeal your suspension. And he is left with the only option at this point, which is ridiculous, that an athlete, a league, and a team are still doing this, a players' union, is to go to the Supreme Court to fight a suspension because he, lied to the commissioner about his involvement and whether or not he asked to have air taken out of balls. Now, we've talked about this before. That same season, a team got caught with their balls in the dryer. Nothing happened. That same season after it came out, arguably the best quarterback in the league, Aaron Rodgers, said he likes to overinflate his balls. The same rules violation. But here we are, 2 years later almost, and we're still talking about this nonsense. We're talking about the Supreme Court interjecting into Roger Goodell's punitive, I don't like you, this is my ball, and I'm going to go home because you don't play by my rules, punishment on the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. He's gotten it wrong every step of the way. Every step of the way. Every suspension he's handed out, every fine that he's done that is inconsistent and just seems like it's made up, like he's doing it on emotion, like he's the parent who spanks you because he's mad and not because it's going to be something to teach you a lesson. I'm sorry, get over it. If you don't like it, too bad. Have your team beat the Patriots. And you know what? This doesn't really hurt Tom Brady. I was talking about this with my friend earlier today. Tom Brady only stands to lose a little over $230,000 for his 4-game suspension because this is a player who has restructured his contract so many times to help his team out that his base salary for next season, Tom Brady, was $1 million. So he'll lose 25% of that because of this suspension, which I think he will serve because why would the Supreme Court hear this case? It would be silly for the Supreme Court to get involved in this. And honestly, I don't think he takes it that far. I think at this point he needs to just go, you know what, fine. We lost 4 games. F you, Roger Goodell. I'll be back. And finish out his career. Because like I've said before, the New England Patriots are not the only team who try and stretch rules so they can try and have an advantage over their opponent. They've just either, how you want to put it, gotten caught or been too obvious about it. These things have been going on forever. You hear coaches all the time talking about in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 90s, checking locker rooms, checking videotape, watching people behind newspapers. It happens. Players do things. Get over it. Move on. With everything said today, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Go enjoy the ESPYs. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy your Wednesday. Until next time, everybody, be real.